Where do ideas come from? Where does wealth come from? Where did you come from? Where did your brain and your mind come from? You will be led back to one source. What's going on, family? It's Rob Millionaire, man. And I wasn't planning on putting a video out today, man. I had planned to do the second chapter of Bob Ross. I was about to say Bob Ross. Bob Proctor, man. I'm doing a series on my channel for the book You Were Born Rich. I was going to do that second chapter tomorrow. But I'm sitting here reading, man. I'm reading, put some wisdom on my dome for the day. I'm reading this book, How to Attract Money by Joesph Murphy. And I've mentioned this book a few times on my channel, and I've probably read this book maybe 10 times all the way through. Excuse me. Maybe 10 times, 11 times. And one of the things I talk about repetition, right, is because you read something numerous times, and then every time you read it, you'll see something new that you really didn't see before, or maybe you didn't quite understand it fully when you first read it, right? And then when you read things based on the awareness, your awareness, right? The level of consciousness that you're on. So I read something, man, and I just really wanted to share it because it just hit. And I've read this same thing, numerous times, but it's like when you read something, man, and you finally understand it, or it just hits different based on maybe the other things that you've learned. It's probably been 2 months since I've read this, a month and a half or so. So, the knowledge that I've learned since then, I'm at a higher level of consciousness. But I'm going to share this with you real quick. So, on this, it's a chapter, Your Right to Be Rich. It says, here's a simple way for you to impress your subconscious mind with the idea of constant supply of wealth. Quiet the wheels of your mind, relax, let go, immobilize your attention, get into a sleepy, drowsy, meditative state of mind. This reduces effort to a minimum. Then, in a quiet, relaxed, passive way, reflect on the following simple truths. Ask yourself, where do ideas come from? Where does wealth come from? Where did you come from? Where did your brain and your mind come from? You will be led back to one source. And it said, when it said, ask yourself where your ideas come from. Now, I understand, right? Our ideas come from a indescribable place. They flow inside of us. There's a power that flows inside of our minds that allows us to think thoughts, right? All we can, come up with is just a God power. It's a power that's outside of us. It's not physical. It's a spiritual thing. Allows us to have thoughts, think, right? And where does wealth come from? And it's like if you really think about it, you know what I mean? Really think about it. Like I took a mentorship from Dr. Myron Golden. If you're not familiar with him, man, look him up. He has some amazing content on YouTube. His channels grew like so much. He just, when he started putting the content out, and he teaches wealth and success based on biblical principles. So, in his mentorship, one of the things he said that stuck out to me was that riches were spiritual. Wealth is spiritual. It's not a physical thing, right? Because the physicality is the lowest level of value that you can give. So people who have a lot of wealth, you know, it's a spiritual thing. They use their mind. They use the ideas and the thoughts that come into their mind, right, to build wealth. And one of the examples that he used was like musicians, actors. You know what I mean? They're not doing very hard, laborious work. They're using their mind, and they're some of the highest paid people on the face of the planet. So, this question where it says, where does wealth come from? It's like, if you think about it, where does wealth come from? Because wealth comes from and is created from ideas and thoughts, right? Like if you're not going to get rich doing like physical labor, right? Because that doesn't really require much thinking or thought. If you clean carpets, you're it doesn't require that much thinking to clean some carpets, right? And it's hard laborious work. Like I say that because I used to clean carpets. I had a carpet cleaning business at one time, and that was some of the hardest work that I did, doing it all by myself and shit. But the riches and the wealth comes from the people who use their mind. They think of ideas. They use this power, this God power that comes from one source. And when you're tapped into that spiritual power, that source, you're able to receive ideas. You're able to receive these thoughts that you can use to attract all the wealth to yourself. But you got to be tapped in. If you're not tapped in, or if you don't have any knowledge of this, then you don't know. But everybody has the power available to them. But if you don't know, you don't know, right? You don't have any knowledge of it. But it all comes from one source. All the wealth in the world. And, I think religious doctrine has us deceived that, God is like, good. Like you can only tap into this power if you're like good, or what you would describe as somebody who you've been conditioned to be as good. Somebody that follows all the laws of the earth, and somebody that does all the good things and follows all the rules. You know what I mean? That's really just a conditioning, good and bad. Like you're the one in your own mind and consciousness that decides what is good or bad. This is why some of the most powerful people on earth are, run countries, kill millions of people, but they're still way richer than you are. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to be a good person per se to tap into this God-given power that you have. So religious doctrine, we've been indoctrinated and conditioned to believe that, you have to be good to receive good things, right? But you really have to have knowledge of and understand who you are. And yeah, man, that one, that there is, it kind of hit. It's like, where does wealth come from, right? It comes from the ideas and it comes from the thoughts. This is why one has to be wealthy is going to take a definite decision. Like you're not going to be able to just do a bunch of physical work and get there. It's going to come from ideas. It's going to come from using your mind. It's going to come from putting definite and intentional thoughts in your mind. to build, to create. It's all about creation at the end of the day. Look at the rich, the people who have the money. They are creators in some form or fashion. From the phone that you're watching me on right now, to the TV that you probably watch in your house, to this sofa that I'm sitting on. Like, I guarantee you, whoever made the sofa is rich, man. You know what I'm saying? The person who wrote this book, Joesph Murphy, I bet he didn't. I bet he wasn't broke. Like, he creators, man. They create. They create things, right? And everybody has this power available to them. Everybody is a creator at the end of the day. You may not know it, you may not understand the power, but you are a creator. And you have the power available to you. You just have to, one, have knowledge of it, and two, know how to work it. So, repetition. This is why I harp on repetition. I read this book. I've read this book numerous times, and I will continue to read this book because it just holds a lot. It's a lot of gems, man. It's a small book. Like, if you get a chance, go pick the book up. You know what I mean? It's a small book, but like, there's a lot of gold in this book, man. And yeah, yeah. Anyways, that just hit for me, so I figured I'd share that. Might as well put a video out. It's inspired action, man. I don't know. I wasn't even planning on recording a video, and then I read that, and something was like, man, turn the camera on and just share it. Just share it. It might help somebody. One person. Even if this video helped one person, man. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's spiritual. If you want to change your situation, understand that it's going to take using your mind. I'll share one more thing before I go. And it said, wealth is a state of consciousness. It is a mind conditioned to divine supply, forever flowing. The scientific thinker looks at money or wealth like the tide. It goes out, but it always comes back. And then the man who knows the workings of the subconscious mind is never, therefore, worried about the economic situation, stock market, devaluation, or inflation of currency, since he abides in the consciousness of God's eternal supply. And he put a verse on here that I read this verse many times, but it just hit me right now, right? And this is why you shouldn't worry about money. Because when you worry about those things, that's a feeling that you get. Now you got fear, you got anxiety. Now you're going to feel those things and get more of that. But if you trust in the Creator, if you trust in God, and you know that you're good and you feel the well-being, well, how it's designed is you'll just get more of that. Behold the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are ye not much better than they? The birds of the air, they're fed. They're always okay. They don't reap, they don't sow. Are you not better than they are? If you believe that, then you would live life joyous, happy, knowing that you're always cared for, you're always taken care of. You don't worry about and have fear and anxiety if you can do this or you can overcome that. And you don't worry about it, you would know. And if you know, then that's what the universe would give you. Just more of that, more of the knowing. But yeah, man, this Rob Millionaire, bro. I'm gonna holler at y'all on the next one. Put that video out tomorrow, man. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.